Hello everyone, I am Shutapa Datta. Welcome back to my channel Shutapa's Biology. My today's topic is mitochondria, which is under the topic cell biology. So it's the subtopic under the cell biology, that is the mitochondria. You know, I think that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So it's very important as well as the nucleus and other organelles. It's very important organ as it supplies the energy to the cell and ultimately to the organism. So today's topic is mitochondria. It was first observed by Albert von Kolliker. Albert von Kolliker on the year 1857, and he demonstrated it as a powerhouse of cell. Only the powerhouse of cell he demonstrated, not the mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of cell according to Albert von Kolliker. But after 12 years, Carl Benda, another scientist, he observed it in the nerve cell of barn owl, and he demonstrated it or coined the name mitochondria. So mitochondria name was coined by Carl Benda. And first observed by Albert von Kolliker on the year 1857 and as the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, so this is about the short history of mitochondria, and now we are going to discuss about it. Before that, I am telling you that mitochondria, according to some scientists, the origin of mitochondria. What is the origin of mitochondria? It's the endosymbiosis was observed. Endosymbiosis means within the cell, endosymbiosis of mitochondria. This is very important for your competitive exam. That mitochondria is was living inside the cell as like the bacteria or prokaryote, and that's why they have the symbiotic association with the cell, and ultimately they become the cell organelle. So this is the endosymbiosis of mitochondria, and it was first observed in non-sulfur bacteria. So this is about the endosymbiosis. Now I am coming to the structure of the mitochondria. In structure, it's like the sausage shaped or disc shaped mostly. Other than that, many structures are there like filamentous, like cylindrical, etc. But mostly sausage shaped or ovoid. So structure of mitochondria. I am giving a diagram about this. It's a double membrane bound structure. So it has outer membrane as well as the inner membrane. And outer membrane and inner membrane, they form the outer chamber, and inside the inner membrane there is the matrix, which is the inner chamber. So it has two chambers. Like nucleus, you have observed in my last video that nucleus has also two envelope, that is exokaryotica and endokaryotica. Like that, mitochondria has also outer membrane and inner membrane. The outer membrane is mostly, it was seen previously that it's mostly smooth, but inner membrane is folded. Inner membrane is folded to form the cristae, the finger-like projections inside the matrix, that is known as cristae. So inner membrane is folded to form the cristae. We are coming to that. In diagram of book you have also seen this structure, I think, and in lower classes also you have seen that mitochondria has these types of serrating structure inside, and these are the cristae. Cristae has very important role, later I am coming to that. But inside the inner chamber, this is the inner chamber and this is the outer chamber. Okay, I am labeling this outer chamber, that's also known as perimitochondrial space. Perimitochondrial space. This remains filled by a fluid, and this is the inner chamber, which is the main portion, that is inner chamber inside the inner membrane. Now another thing is there, that inner chamber, inside the inner chamber there are oxysomes or F0 F1 particles, which are also known as the Fernandez-Moran subunit. The three names are there, that is the cristae. On the cristae, that is tennis racket like structures are present on the cristae, and that's the main function of the mitochondria, that contains throughout the cell. The cristae contains many tennis racket like structures, and these are known as F0 F1 particle or oxysome or Fernandez-Moran subunit. I am writing the names also later. And then another thing is there, that the outer membrane, I have told you that outer membrane is smooth. It was thought previously, but now scientists got some stalkless structures, round stalkless structures. These are known as Parsons subunit throughout the outer membrane. These are known as Parsons subunit. You will not get in NCERT book and many other books also, because it's the recent finding of the scientist. This is the Parsons subunit. But the function of these units are not well known yet. And inside the mitochondria there are circular DNA ribosomes, and ribosomes are 70S type. Sometimes we can get 55S also, but mostly 70S type circular DNA with ribosomes. So every essential materials for protein synthesis all are present inside the mitochondria, and that's why they are termed as semi-autonomous organelle. Later I am coming to this topic in elaborate way. Firstly I am completing the diagram. A circular DNA is present inside it, and ribosomal subunits, that is larger subunit, smaller subunit, in this way these are present inside the matrix, as well as RNA are also there, and all the materials which are required for the protein synthesis. That's why they can do their protein synthesis or perform their protein synthesis without the help of nucleus or any other. Okay, so that's why they are known as semi-autonomous organelle. I'm telling you later about this in details. So inner chamber is the matrix. So this is the outer membrane. And this is inner membrane. These are the cristae. These finger-like projections are cristae, and in plural crista. And above this cristae, these are oxysome. These are the tennis racket-like structure, and they are impregnated on the wall of the cristae, and the pairs of the oxisome or F0 F1 particle I am giving later. Here I am giving that in highlighted way. And what's about the matrix? This is the matrix which is a dense homogeneous material. Matrix is dense homogeneous material, so everywhere the unity is there, okay, in matrix. And many enzymes which are required for the aerobic respiration, those are staying inside the matrix. Now aerobic respiration, in aerobic respiration, mitochondria has most important role, as it can produce the ATP or the energy currency of the cell. Okay, so mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell. Why? Because they can synthesize the ATP, that is the energy currency, which are produced by aerobic respiration. Okay, now these membranes also contain the enzymes required for all these things. They also contain. And another is porcine subunit. This porcine subunit has some functions might be, but it's not yet discovered, and that's why these are just only we know that these are stalkless round structure and placed on the outer membrane. Now about the F0 F1 particle or oxisome, I am giving a separate highlighted structure. This is the oxisome or Fernandez-Moran subunit F0 F1 particle or Fernandez-Moran subunit. Fernandez-Moran subunit. It has three parts. This is head or F1. This is F1 or head. This is stalk, and this is the base or F0. F0 or base. So three parts are there, and why it's F0 and F1? There is another logic, that F0 is 0 for this thing, that they contain no enzyme, but F1 has the main enzyme, that is the ATP synthetase enzyme is present inside the F1. That's why it's F1. So F1 has very important role in aerobic respiration for synthesis of ATP. And what's the stalk? Stalk is connecting the head and base. So this is about the structure of the mitochondria, and I have already told you that they have DNA, circular DNA. They have ribosomal subunit. These green dots are ribosomal subunits. So they can synthesize their own protein, and that's why they are known as semi-autonomous organelle. Now why the semi-autonomous organelle? What is semi-autonomous organelle? Like the deemed university. Deemed university, they can make their own question paper, they can take the exam according to their own schedule, but they have to get the certificate from the other university. So that is the function of the deemed university. Like that, it's a semi-autonomous body. Now it can synthesize its own protein according to its need, but the formation will be regulated by the nucleus. They have to get permission from nucleus when they will synthesize it. So that's why they are partially dependent on nucleus, and that's why they are known as semi-autonomous organelle. It's a board question most of the time in CBSE and ISC board. They give the why these are semi-autonomous organelle, and who are the semi-autonomous organelle. It's in MCQ also, you will get in NEET also. It's very important information, so mind it well. Okay. Now this is about the structure of the mitochondria. I think I have completed all this. Now another thing you please note down that mitochondria under the compound microscope or electron microscope, it can't be seen without proper staining. It's very transparent one, so without proper staining mitochondria can't be observed well. Okay. Now about the function of the mitochondria. Number one, you know that function of the mitochondria is to take part in the aerobic respiration. for synthesis of ATP. Take part in aerobic respiration for synthesis of ATP. Take part in ATP synthesis. Number 2, they have the role in calcium metabolism called calcium homeostasis. Calcium homeostasis. Number 3, in embryo, they have the role of vitalogenesis. What is vitalogenesis? That is the yolk synthesis. They can synthesize the yolk. They have role in vitalogenesis. That is the yolk synthesis in egg. So in embryo they have this role. And number 4, they have very important role in apoptosis. Do you know the term apoptosis? If you don't know, then I am telling you, the apoptosis is the programmed cell death. I am giving the apoptosis. It's the programmed cell death. Each and every cell has some limited lifespan. Like in RBC, we can get that 120 days. Programmed cell death. Like all living organism, every cell has particular lifespan, and after that they will die. And this programmed cell death is formatted by the cell in DNA, and that's known as apoptosis, which is absent in the malignant cells. And that's the main problem of the malignant cell. They will not die before the death of the host, and they have no apoptosis. But other than that, every normal cell, they have the apoptosis. So what is apoptosis? That is the programmed cell death. So mitochondria helps in apoptosis. So during the apoptosis, they will produce less energy, and ultimately the cell will die. And it's also required because all the cells are not immortal, they are also mortal. Now this is about the mitochondria, and in my today's topic, that's all for you. Okay, bye.